Welcome back to the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Hit that subscribe button at the bottom left-hand corner. My next guest, we had him on the lunch table probably like a year or so ago. It's been a minute, man. Self-Provoked.
What up?
Boom Bap is in the building.
Yeah.
New album out right now, Players Run.
Yup.
How you feeling, bro?
Good, man. Good. Just working, dropping videos, getting the treatments done, the little video treatments, and just working on the next stuff too.
You know, amongst everybody who I follow, you've probably been the most active. You know what I mean? Like, because you're always releasing new music and you're always dropping new videos. And I was even looking at your Spotify, bro. You've at least dropped an album like once a year for the past like couple years. What keeps you motivated to keep on wanting to drop things so at a consistent basis?
Just trying to top my older shit, man. I'll drop some shit I think is like hella dope, and then like a couple months into it, I'll be like, I could have done better, and then like
better.
Yeah, and I just keep going. Like I don't knock my old stuff too much, except like the older stuff. But yeah, it's just, I guess it's just trying to perfect the craft more and more.
Yeah, well, you got to, bro. Like, so how often do you find yourself writing? Like, do you wake up and then just like immediately start writing, or like how often do you write?
Yeah, the mornings, man. As soon as I wake up, I feel like writing. Like, I write a lot. I write too much sometimes because, like, sometimes, like, I lack the other angles of the game, the networking side or the thing like that. I just, like, hey, I wake up, I write, I feel productive. But over the years, I've realized, yo, you got to do more than just write, bro.
Yeah, I feel you. Because a lot of artists just think that, you know, you can make like the dopest song, but then the dopest song needs to be put out to the world. Somebody needs to know about it somehow, and that's where the networking comes in.
And the way Instagram and the whole online world with the algorithms and the things are like, like they cap in they put in the ceiling on your reach and stuff like that. So that's when I started realizing, yo, I need to start networking, because there's certain bosses out here that like could put if you work with certain people, they could put you in places where your product will be seen a little more.
Of course. Like, I mean, you know, you could talk to like like an A&R or something, and then they could essentially put your project in a place for it to thrive. But you know, like, we're always just one conversation away from actually meeting whoever that person is.
And before, I was hella like, I understood that was a way to go about it, but I was never so like, now I feel like I need to start meeting those people, because like just the whole little way the social media is doing, like the little algorithm thing and the little cap in the reach, like now I'm kind of like, okay, maybe it's time to start working on the networking. I
feel you.
Yeah.
Do you think the networking aspect is what I get? Because I've seen you grow over like the past year or so, but do you think like diving more into the networking will help you grow even more?
Yeah, but yeah. Just I just understand. I seen people come up, and I see the connections they make, and then after that connection's made, they're on certain playlists, like or they're on certain YouTube channels. Like, one thing about me and my career, I always like drop stuff on my YouTube channel. I've never really like dropped stuff on other channels.
Gotcha. Like, you don't reach out to like a world star and then be like, oh, hey, here's my shit.
Or No Jumper, Elevator, nothing like that, which is smart because that expands your putting it in places where people like that aren't your fans like see you, against like catering to somebody who already knows you. But so where was I going with that?
So you haven't necessarily fed your music towards like a world star or like a No Jumper in that sense of like, here's my music video, put it up on your channel.
Yeah, or a new audience, because I know those channels are like they like the more trendy, wavy sounds and stuff, and I don't have that sound, like a couple songs that are here and there maybe could fall into that category.
Lunatics kind of falls into that category a little bit.
Yeah, that one could. But you know what would suck if I like, imagine that song blew up and then like all my other music's not like that, so everybody that hears that goes in and they're like, oh, that's not what I
that's not what I wanted, that's not what I expected. I mean, but that's the reason why I think you're smart for putting Lunatics out as just a single, because that's kind of just like the one off of like, yo, like I can do this type of rap too if I really feel like it.
Yeah, I love those beats. Those beats remind me of like they remind me of like a little you could like structure your bars like a boom bap beat to those beats. You feel
Mhm.
me? Because they're so like up tempo and shit. I like them.
You know, seeing as how we're in this wave of like, I mean, you definitely, I feel like a lot of people really want to go with the buffoonery on like Instagram, right? And then you have a lot of people who are also hopping on the wave of what's popular in hip hop right now, right?
Mhm.
So where does like boom bap really fit in amongst this jungle of hip hop?
It doesn't really. It has its own lane. Like as far as like what I see right now, like there's the Instagram skit guys, you know, like the dudes that like do shit to stay relevant with all that. And I guess it works, so I'm not knocking it, but I would never in my life like do that. Like I won't like I got print like, and I'm not knocking them. We just different.
You
different
guys have like
upbringings.
different ways of going about it.
Yeah, different perspectives on that. But I don't know, man. I feel like boom bap or just like that hip hop like just always has its lane. Like to me, I like like the Freddie Gibbs, like those
Oh,
lanes.
yeah,
I like
yeah,
the
yeah.
Currencies. I like the even Dom Kennedy. Like I just those lanes to me are like, yo, that's my.
That's the shit that you really love.
To be on that lane would be like just to have that following, like without having to do all this, like, you know,
To do all the other shit, yeah.
man. I don't like, and it's dumb because I'm right here complaining about the stuff that is necessary, like photo shoots. Like I'm not good with photo shoots. When dudes want to set up a photo shoot with me, yo, like that shit like awkward as fuck. Like I got like 1-2 poses and then that's it. Like,
Just
so yeah, and my face like hella awkward. I'm just like, yo, like, so there's certain things that I need to start getting hip to. You feel me?
yeah.
Because I could complain all day about the shit I don't like want to do. And,
But
like,
complaining isn't gonna get you
Exactly.
anywhere, bro.
exactly. So I just gotta stop. Like the pen is cool, writing all the time is cool, but I gotta start balancing the other aspects of it.
Do you would you consider yourself an introvert?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because I noticed that a lot of people who just have, strict bars, and I really want to include you in that category, like they find themselves to be a lot more introverted as well. Like for example, I had High Res.
Okay,
I had High
I've chopped
Res
it up
in
with
here.
him before.
Yeah. I mentioned your name in our interview, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Self, like that's my guy," and I was like, "All right, cool." But it's like even he was saying that like as soon as he wakes up, he just starts writing, and I'm just like, I feel like this is a lot of things that like introverted people would do because I feel like you guys are just so wanting to be in your own space so you can concentrate about the things you really want to talk about.
No, definitely. Yeah, I cook myself up on my spot a lot. I'm a mad loner by choice, bro. Like, yeah, if I'm not writing or something, I'm just hearing like lectures or just like I'm like heavy into like philosophy and stuff like that.
Really?
So, yeah.
What's the most recent lecture that you tuned into?
Probably a Manly P. Hall. I listen. Manly P. Hall is a philosopher, historian / historian, but he's like my favorite guy to listen to. He has like 3-hour lectures. Like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he breaks down like a lot of allegory that's in, like I don't. How do I say this without nerding out?
I know, bro. I want you to nerd out. It's all good.
Like origins of like certain religions and why certain like certain dates are special in our society and like why certain like just how things came to be and like why everything is the way it is pretty much. Like
yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of history when it comes to shit like to stuff like that, and to me that fascinates me. Like I like hearing about like the origin of certain religions. I like to hear how I don't know, just a lot of weird shit, a lot of weird shit. Yeah.
Hey,
Esoteric hermetic philosophy.
Esoteric hermetic philosophy.
Like hermetic philosophy.
What,
yeah,
what?
Like there's a book called the Kabbalah.
What is that? What is that?
Like astrology, where astrology.
Oh, got you.
Not like that, like, but I'm saying like where astrology came from, is like some guy or some entity called Hermes Trismegistus, like that from ancient Greek, and then they got this knowledge from ancient Egypt. Before it was ancient Egypt, it was called chemi, hence the word chemical, chemistry, like so like yeah, so I'm just into shit like that.
Dude, that's really cool. And it's cool for the sense of like, I mean, finding the origin of something is just not even, I feel like it's not really in our nature to really want to do, because you can look at like that big ass philosophy word and try to like break that down into so many parts until like you find like its baby form, And it's stuff like that is so complex but so simple at the same time once you get to that point of discovery.
Yeah, man. I think it's. I personally think it's something that's helped me develop and see things the way they are. Because a lot of times we get caught in this illusion of like what we think society is. Like we have a lot of consumerism thrown at us. Like we're constantly being marketed to, constantly being told, hey, you could be happier if this, like, you know. So I think when you see past that and see the little tricks, like why do they use those colors so much in restaurants, like yellow and red? Like, oh, does it do something to my subconscious mind? Does it trigger something? You know, so you start kind of breaking down your own inner mechanisms, and then you're like, oh, that's why I'm the way you are. And it's kind of like a self-discovery route too, because you start understanding like how they use your own way of your inner, like they use your inner mechanisms against you without people even knowing.
Wow,
you know, so
that
like,
is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
they could play on people's depression. They could play on people's like, man, I know a lot of fucking rappers that like are like fake depressed rappers, because you're catering to an audience. They understand there's a big like sad audience, you know, like so like they cater to that, and then behind the scenes they'll be chopping it up like, and there's
like it's nothing.
like they know what they're doing. You feel me? Like,
yeah.
And I'm not knocking those people, because like it is kind of fucked up in a greater scale, but it is like, yo, like they found an audience and they're catering it to, because it works for them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, same with like selling the whole fantasy like of what we think romance is or love is, you know, like with little kid movies, like this whole like we get sold a lot of ideas, and then we accept these ideas growing up and like accept them as like that's the way it is.
Well, yeah, bro, because, you know, even when I was like 14, 15, like I used to have girlfriends like left and right, bro. And then I would throw, I love you, I love you, I love you, like so much, right? And it's because like when I was younger, like all these Disney movies would get fed to us, and it's like, oh, well, this is what love is. Love is flying on a fucking magic carpet with a monkey and a female. You know what I mean? Like love is also, you know, just like that realm of things. And then as you grow older, you kind of realize like these things aren't as realistic as Disney kind of like portrays it, or any like media company tries to portray it. So the more we become aware about these things, the more we can actually figure out the true meaning of it in regards to ourselves. And it's funny that you bring up the whole like romance love aspect, because your project Players Run is like, I feel like it's a whole story between like you and like your love life, essentially.
Yeah. My emotionally unavailable ass. Yeah. That's how women would describe me, yo, because like deep down inside there's like this little like me that's like still fueled by this idea of what Disney fed me was what love was, you know, like, and then you kind of have to fight the realism, which is kind of like, yo, it's not like that. And it's like love's like kind of about accepting, and like if you really love somebody, yo, fucking love them if you're with them or not, you know. Like if you're trying to fucking like, hey, I love you, like fucking I'm making sure you don't fall for nobody else. That's like possession. That's like that's like not love.
That's dangerous, bro.
Yeah, and a lot of people are stuck in that shit. Like, yo, like, yeah, I would never allow like an opposite like or whatever your preference is, but like control my like what I do, or like I see a lot of people change their whole life. Like, if it's not for the better, that sucks, but for another individual, like, and it's like, yo, you're losing yourself, bro. You're like, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been in moments in which, like, I've been possessive, and I noticed that the other person was also possessive, like, as I look back on past relationships, and I'm just like, wow, like, looking back at then, like, I don't think that was, like, really love. That was just two people racking their fucking brains out, trying to figure out how we can make this shit work, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for you, being somebody who's constantly, like, I feel like you're constantly, like, in your own head trying to, like, learn new things and discover a lot of stuff, like, it must be difficult for you to try to like maintain a relationship right now. If you have one, or if you don't have one.
It's like logic versus emotion. You feel me? Like, cause sometimes it's hard to balance the two sometimes, and it's like for me sometimes I catch myself being a little way too logical, where I kind of start like ignoring, like it's like. And sometimes that leads to pessimism, and like that's where it's bad, you know. That's where you need to like, yo, like sometimes things don't need to be broken down. Like sometimes things don't like they say, ignorance is bliss. Like sometimes just going with the feeling, and like, but at the same time, I don't want to be that either, because like I don't see that working out for me. Like I don't know, but
balance is key, bro.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Balance definitely is key because you could find yourself in a room with two super logical people. Like, for instance, I'll be at the radio station, right? And Bootleg Kev, DJ Head, both extremely logical people. And I'll just be over here kind of in the middle, like, these motherfuckers are arguing about the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And they both make sense, but neither of them wants to, like, let up.
Yeah. See, that's where the understanding of a person is. Yeah, because all truths are but half truths. You know, like someone's truth might not be yours. And there's definitely ways to justify every truth. Like if you really want to break things down, like you could like. That's why the whole friggin' left wing and right wing thing is so stupid to me.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's retarded that motherfuckers like would cling to a side. Like, where's the individuality? Like, and I see some people get so consumed by that stuff. Is like, yo, you could agree with some of the shit they say, and some of it, like even like if you don't fuck with, like, you can't just be fully against like, hey, the right wing or the left wing likes dogs, so you hate dogs now. You know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The logic has become the logic with like picking sides, as far as like politics and shit like that, is just.
I mean, it's such like a sheep mentality, you know what I mean? It's kind of like if I like pizza, then everybody in my family is gonna like pizza. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to like simplify it to like the smallest form possible so everybody gets it, but that's such a weird way of thinking. Just because you like like something, it's like nobody else really has to cling like to you. Like I'm sure there's like between like everything on your discography, bro, like there's fans who really love some of your songs, then there's other fans who like probably hate some of your songs, but that's just, it's not your fault. It's just kind of like how things are.
And they should be like that. Like, it's funny, on a live a couple of days ago, I told like, yo, if I drop something, if y'all don't dig it, don't share it. Like share the shit you dig. Like I don't want like a blind following. Like might be beneficial, but at the same time, that's not what I'm trying to breed. With my whole music thing, I don't know if like my lyrics, they're very anti-victim, like don't like anti-masses. Not, and what I mean not anti-masses is not me going against them, but like, yo, think for yourself. Like life's hard. Yeah, I know. Still, I ain't going. Oh no, that's another fucking song. But life ain't fair. Yeah, I know. I forgot. Fucking lyrics, but yeah, man, I just try to breed that mentality. I just want, like, I hate people seeing, I hate seeing people like kind of like self-sabotage themselves so much.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, yo, I need y'all to realize how strong you are and what you could do, you know, because you're constantly feeding yourself negative shit, like, and so I'm trying to bring that whole like anti-victim, like, yo, get up, dude, like change some shit up, like, you know, like pick yourself up.
I get you. I forgot who I was talking to, but then it's the idea that. You know, you ever hear of like this saying that like you're a product of your environment? I had somebody in here and he said like that is complete bullshit because you may have like grown up in a certain place, but that doesn't prevent you from going out somewhere else and wanting to not be in that place anymore. So back to your point, it's like when people victimize themselves and say, I'm like this because of my environment, it's like, no, your environment has something to do with it, but then you also chose to become that victim of your environment.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. I agree with that shit 100%, man. Because, yeah, motherfuckers literally, they just dwell in self-pity, and then they just like it's like me right here bitching about fucking Instagram and shit. You feel me? Like it's like I'm bitching about it, but I know it's like, yo, bro, like, so you gotta adapt and you gotta figure it out and everything, because like I could bitch and then just fucking let everything go to waste, but I ain't gonna let that happen, you know. But
yeah, I mean it's adaptation at the end of the day, bro. And I don't know if you've ever like gotten into Darwinism or anything, but literally the people who cannot adapt are the people who fall off.
And you know what's funny as hell? I was thinking of Darwinism on the way here because of food though. Cause like, dude, I had this thought. I was stoned as shit like a few weeks ago, like, and I was just like, yo, like the food that they're feeding us and all these like horrible habits that they're putting on us, or with through music and like, you know, drugs and shit like that. It's a form of Darwinism, like, because like eventually, like, if you're consuming a food every single day, you're putting something in your body every single day. You're gonna change yourself on a cellular level. So like eventually you're gonna like your cells are changing a little bit. You know, like you're being prone to more diseases now. You're being your lifespan might be shortening, and then when you have a kid, you're passing these fucking genes, you know, to your kids. So like eventually certain bloodlines like die off like, you know, like throughout time, and then certain the ones that are smart or the ones that, hey, like or behind this whole shit, I don't know, like their bloodlines are cool because they knew what things to avoid, you know. So like to me, like this whole self-destructive thing that they're pushing on us, I see it as a form of Darwinism, like on a bigger scale, you know. Like I see the United States like as a psychological experiment. Like if you really think about it, it's like a bubble. Like we test trends out here, we see how it works with the youth, we see how, like gangster rap, when the gangster rap was popping in the 90s and shit, and like everybody grew up to be a gangster because that shit was glorified, you know. So because it was a bunch of like gangs were like areas like that needed like certain areas had gangs for like reasons, you know, like, but and then there's like people in the burbs and like or nice areas trying to be gangsters now, but this is because like they were fucking brainwashed through the music, you know?
I get you, bro. And you know what I mean, I will also say this too, because gangster rap was so prominent when you and I were growing up. It's like, yeah, like I was kind of looking at these music videos and said, like, oh, I want to dress like that, too. I want to kind of be like that, too. But then I was quick to be like, okay, like, that's not really the life that I have or want to portray, so I'm, like, cutting that off right now. But back to the point, it's kind of like, you know, I'll say this. Hip-hop is in a very depressing state right now just because of a lot of the music that's getting flushed out to people. And in a sense, right, I find myself kind of wrapped in my head saying, like, okay, let's say I'm the consumer of, let's say, like a Kid Cudi song, right? And, like, the music's extremely depressing. Am I depressed because I have some stuff going on in my life and I actually am depressed? Or am I putting myself in a state of depression because of the type of music that I'm consuming?
I think the first one, I think what would bring you or because everybody has that inside of them. Not like self-frustration or like little insecurities, whatever it could be. But so obviously it's that type of music is relatable. So like, yeah, and it's dope, like every here and there. But if you're constantly waking up to that music and you're like, and dude, like sometimes, some days you will. I'm not knocking it. Some people could, but it definitely affects you. Like in like you start vibrating a little slower than because you start getting into this mood. You could wake up in a great mood and then like love some catchy ass song, but it reminds you of your fucking ex that you just, and then you keep bumping that song throughout. You'll be driving like to work thinking about your fucking ex. Like you're setting yourself up for that. But there's a lot of dope depressing songs, man. But
I'll say this though, man. I don't mind listening to depressing songs, but I will only listen to it like sometimes. If I want to catch like a particular vibe, but then I gotta get out of there so quickly because I don't want to stay in that state of just like, fuck, man.
Yeah, and in that, you know? Exactly, you saying that. So imagine everybody like, imagine people listening to radio music, you know, like the wave that's going on right now is like a lot of gangster. The gangster shit's back and the fucking the drug shit. Like, so and then a lot of women speaking their truth of their lifestyle, like a Cardi B, you know. And I don't knock people that, but like the lyrics, like fuck them, then I guess
fuck them, then I get some money.
Imagine your 10-year-old daughter hearing that shit, thinking that shit cool, you know, like and then not knocking Cardi because that's her truth, like that's the lifestyle she grew, like so she's speaking her truth and shit. But I feel like hip hop, like mainstream hip hop, just is lacking the balance of like, yo, like everything's like crazy fucked up, but there's no like, there's not as many J. Cole's as there is like fucking thing. And
facts,
like,
bro.
It's like the balance is off.
Yeah, bro. And honestly, that's where I feel like boom bap is always. That's how I feel like boom bap is always gonna be relevant, because boom bap is definitely that balance of just like, hey, like, you know, everything that's getting portrayed by like the Cardi B's or like the Blue Faces of the world, like that's cool. However, you also have to think of like the other side of the coin. That's where I feel like artists like yourself, like High Res, like Kendrick Lamar, like that's where all of you come into place and be like, yo, like we, you know, you need to see the other side, because you can't get totally consumed into everything that's getting fed to you on a mainstream level.
No, definitely, man. And Anderson .Paak, that's like those type of artists. I feel like but they're big, you know. It's just like there's certain like Complex don't really. I don't know. I don't really keep up with like a lot of blogs and stuff like that. But for that reason though, but I feel like they just have that crazy hip hop. They're pushing that crazy shit, even, which is entertaining. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a reason why Tekashi's ass was like
number
everybody,
one. Yeah.
Because like people want to see shit people want to see someone do the shit they won't do. Like, I won't fucking do what the cock is.
Oh,
So I'm like, fuck
you
it.
spelled that shit out so perfectly,
let me
bro.
see where you
Yo,
go. Like, you know? Yeah, but it's crazy.
Hold on for one. So I think within like the past year, I mentioned your name to somebody, and they said you were actually once in a group with Devour and Vel? Or no?
Who the fuck told you that?
No? Okay, so whoever told me that was tripping.
On something, yeah. Yeah, nah. We, nah. But we did, no, not like, no, and I ain't even trying. But what I'm saying, like, we probably been on the same network, like on this, like, but not even the same cipher. So I don't know where that person got that idea.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. I don't know. Shout out to whoever told me that piece of information, because I look like a dumbass now.
Yeah, no, I was
But it's
never.
all love.
Oh no, I was in a group, but this was like with 2 other homies when I was like 16, 17.
A minute ago, then.
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Shit, man. Well, the solo career is doing well for you, bro. So Players Run, I'm listening to it front and back. What was the most difficult song on the project to make?
Shit. The writing process for me is pretty easy. I think the hardest one would be That's Something. We couldn't get the mix to sound good. Like, it took a lot. Yeah, I think that's the only track I really had trouble with.
Just because of the mixing and whatnot?
Yeah, just the mixing. But as far as writing, nah, man. I write pretty quick. Like, I started writing again. I already have like 3 or 4 songs done for this the other project I'm working on.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, like, I'm telling you, right? I like writing. Like, I like writing. But there's periods where I can't write. Like, there's periods where I try to write and then I can't. Like, I'll be writing some dumb shit.
When was the last time you were in like a writer's block?
Last week I just started getting my mojo back.
How do you get back? How do you get out of that funk?
It just hits me. I have to, like, first I like absorb like the feeling of why I don't want to write, you know, like, or why I don't feel inspired. I try to feel as uninspired as possible to be like, okay, like why can't I fuck it, you know? So I'm like, fuck it, like, but there's usually a reason why. Maybe because I haven't been going out or interacting with as many people, haven't drawn in influence from places that I, you know, like. Because like I told you, bro, sometimes I just kook myself up, and then, like, what the hell how do you get inspired when you're just, like, in your room writing, you're fucking listening to shit by yourself? Yeah, so sometimes I feel like, oh, fuck, I need to go out. You know, I go out and have a cool night, and then come home, and then, like, maybe I wake up, and I'm like, damn, last night was dope, and then fucking I think of some shit, and I get in the mood. But yeah, man, that writer's block shit is weird.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to get out of unless you put yourself in situations to tell more stories. Because, I mean, for me, I'm the type of person who really enjoys storytelling in hip-hop. And when I can vividly see a picture as I'm listening to your music, I'm like, cool, I know exactly where you got that from. So I say all that to say that, like, if you're just, like, cooped up in your room for a minute, there's only so many stories you can tell about you being cooped up in a room, you know?
Yeah, man. To me, like, it's all, like, I don't know, like, I do that shit by, like, willfully, like, you know, separate yourself from people and influences just to kind of unravel yourself and why you're thinking a certain way, you know, like, and then I feel like I've done that so much that I kind of disconnected myself from, like, what society or what even my fan base wants, you know, because I'm so, like, I can't write about, like, write raps about philosophy and fucking, like, shit, like, my fucking fan base be, what the fuck is this shit, you know, like
this shit's way too deep.
Yeah, like, I can't do that. So, like, yeah, there's a certain point where I feel like I need to go and, like, go fucking roll.
Well, it's interesting because I forgot what song it was, but it was, like, your most recent music video. You just dropped it within, like, the past week or so.
No Faces?
No Faces, right? Yeah. And I'm the type of person, I will just scroll through the comments just to kind of see, like, a general consensus. And you have like, it was, like, 90% of people who were saying, like, it was fire. But then there was one comment that stuck out to me, and it said something like, yo, Self, like, you're still rapping on, like, the same type of beats.
He's like, you're stuck in the 2000s.
That comment.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Hey, man, everybody gonna have an opinion on something. You feel me? I don't want to rap on what I think he wants me to rap on. You know, I'm pretty sure he wants me to rap on, like, some, like, trappy shit or something like that. But, like, hey, bro, like, that was never me. That
Yeah.
probably won't ever be me. You know, maybe like a couple songs here and there, but like, nah, that's not like my.
Well, that's why I hear your projects from like over the years, and you've had like you have one of the most consistent sounds amongst a lot of people who I listen to. And what's dope is that you work with producers like Noah James, for example, and then you'll work with like people like 92, and they both kind of are able to cater to your own sound. Is the cool thing.
Word. No, I think Noah James. He
Nug
raps.
Life?
Nug Life.
Nug
There you
Life,
go.
Nug
Yeah,
Life.
yeah.
I guess my question is like I didn't even like ask a question
yeah,
at that
yeah.
point. I'm just like I don't know how he's gonna answer this because I didn't ask anything. But like, what do you see the benefits of like working with so many different producers?
Just different sounds and different. Some producers bring out different sides of me sometimes. Like especially the shit I'm writing to right now. It's just if you give me a happy beat, which is very rare. Like I rarely get happy beats. I might write some happy shit to it, you know, and then like it might bring out something in me that I haven't been using as much, you know. So that's always cool, you know, just see what other producers bring out in you.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, bro. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
What makes you happy? I mean, I see the Dragon Ball tattoo. You know, you might get into some anime. You also got Lion King on there, bro. Like, what makes you happy?
Learning, man. Learning about myself. Learning about the world. The previous worlds that were here before, like ancient civilizations. Like that's my hobby, bro. Like once I got money, I'm trying to just go to like certain places, Stonehenge, fucking Egypt, fucking like I go to Peru, explore Peru more than I'm half Peruvian and I haven't explored like my culture like that deep or that. But
have you been to Peru?
I just bought a $500. No, it's like $400 something book. Freaking like. This big, this fat, comes in a crazy. Is it called the original title is called The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, but it's like an encyclopedic outline of Masonic, Kabbalistic, and what other thing? And one more I fucking forgot. But it's like it's a fucking great book, man. But all types of information is great.
What's that book about? Because you were just throwing out so many adjectives where I'm like, I don't even know what this shit means.
It could go back to like explaining the philosophy of Jesus, you know, like or the because a lot of like Christianity, a lot like I'm not like Christianity is dope as a you know like belief, you know, but it's. As far as the way we view Christianity now, it's like it's allegorical. It's paganism and astrology. So like the way like Virgo is virgin, fucking the three kings, Orion's belt, fucking the Judas kissing the kiss of death, Scorpio. You know the way the sun moves is like Jesus' birthday. You know, fucking the sun goes down, goes back up December 25th. It's like it goes at its lowest point for 3 days. So it resurrects, you know. So you start learning stuff like that. You're like, oh damn, like that's where it came about. But I'm not knocking it because there's teachings. There's a lot of allegory you could get from it, like a lot of moral, like.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
Yeah.
That's why even like growing up, because I went to like an all Catholic school, like for I don't know, maybe 18 years of my life, right, or you know whatever. But they would always bring up the Bible to us, and I'm just like, a lot of these stories just seem so outrageous that all you can really do is pick up the main idea from the story. Like for example, right? And I want to break this down so simplified, but like there's this story of Jesus like going to this city and multiplying loaves of like bread and fish, right? And there's only like a finite amount. So you think about it, it's just like, okay, let's say you have one man and he can't necessarily multiply that, but what you can do is you can have like a finite amount of loaves, finite amount of fish, break it up evenly into like hella pieces and just like share it with people. Point is that you have a lot more in front of you than you actually think. And you're and we're all able to share like our wealth together. We're all able to share our space together. It's just a matter of like how evenly are we able to distribute that amongst people.
So you're a socialist. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, definitely, man. And the allegory is beautiful. The story, and there's a lot of like things that you have to decode. Like there's a lot of things that like were written a certain way, like and got missed in translation over time.
100%.
Yeah, like there's a lot.
And it's kind of like, you know, you can look back at these stories so much that, like, it's kind of hard to believe every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because for once, you weren't actually there. You're only going by what somebody who witnessed it, who wrote it down, and then it's going by year after year after year after year. Point being, man, like, don't believe every single thing that's out there. Just kind of grab something about it and apply it to your own life, however possible.
Hell yeah. Shout out Constantine.
And to be honest, before this interview started, I was like, I don't even know what the fuck me and Self are going to talk about right now. But then it just went so deep to the point where I'm like, yo, I really fuck with this shit.
Yeah, and I hold myself back, bro. Like, I literally, because I spaz on these topics. Like, I'll spaz, bro. Like, fucking, like, yeah, I'll spaz. I'm, like, really, like, so my fun is this shit. Like, I have, dude, my books, like, dude, I go in, bro, like, literally hours a day, like, every day, like,
really?
I'm into this shit. Yeah, I'm heavy into this shit. Yeah.
Do you find that knowing more is scary?
At first, when I started, like, oh, shit, this ain't true, like, I've been going my life feeling security in this, and then, like, oh, shit, this is, like, yeah, the first stages are kind of, like, you get a little shooketh, because, but you get, like, you're like, damn, like, shit ain't the way it is, you know, maybe a little anxiety and, like, distrust and shit starts happening. You start seeing, like, how, like, things work, like, yeah, you know, but after that, it's after you get past that stage, and that stage is a little rough, but you feel liberated after that, because then you start seeing shit for the way it is. You stop letting outside factors affect you, like, as much, because you understand, like, the way you work and the way you are, because, like I said, man, they take advantage of people not knowing themselves, or people, like, just being lost, and, like, a lot of corporations and a lot of, like, manipulative people or agendas are at play against that, you know? So, yeah, man, but to me, it's liberating not wanting certain things. I have no desire in, like, wanting a nice-ass car. Like, literally, like, zero, like, at all. Like, when I make money, like I told you, like, I want to fucking travel. I want to fucking, like, you know, make sure I have, like, a secure base, like, secure money, like, hidden away, fucking, but, like, nice cars or fucking, like Jordans. Like, I started getting into Jordans, like, forcefully, like, you know, these are Vans.
He still got his Vans on,
yeah,
bro.
And I've worn these Vans so many times. You feel me? But, like, I just have, like, I've learned, like, I have no interest in it. Like, I don't know nothing about cars, like, at all. Like, I know Toyota, Nissan, I know Lamborghini, like, obviously the common ones.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know shit about car. I don't know fucking generation, this generation. Like, I don't know, when people talk about shit like that, I have no knowledge over that. But I just have I'm very where was I going with that? Dude, I lose my train of thought like a motherfucker. For my mind is just like, but
silly rabbit.
But where was I going with that? I forgot.
I guess you're at this point in which, like, you really fall in love with discovery and always wanting to know more and more about things, and not necessarily, like, I guess not even, like, the materialistic things, but, like, even knowing that. I guess, like, even knowing the way a car is made or the way, like, shoes are made, but not necessarily, like, having those particular things, or knowing, like, what's over in Peru, or, like, for me, like, when I went on a trip to, where were we, Cabo, with my girlfriend, like, we went on, like, this whole ass tour, and then, like, the tour guides had took us to this place called Chichen Itza, where, like, the Mayans used to, like, live and survive and all that. And they were saying that basically, like, inside the pyramid, or at the top of the pyramid, is where they would go to, like, make their sacrifices and whatnot. And they also took us to this, like, little courthouse where they would play games, and, like, seeing as how, like, whoever won the game would get killed. And I'm over here thinking, like, why would they get killed? And they're like, well, to them, like, if you're getting sacrificed to the gods, that's, like, the highest degree of, like, excellence that you can acquire. And I'm just like, you know, that's so unprecedented. That's so unprecedented nowadays, but it's such an interesting thing to know that that was a fact way back then.
Yeah, and that kind of makes you think, like, the idea we have of death now as it being bad, or people dreading death, or like viewing it as a negative in a negative space, is like there's certain people or cultures that see it differently, you know? So, like, the way you attach an idea to to a situation, like, really has a toll on us, like, as a society. So imagine, like, if like, hey man, like one day we wake up, it's like, I don't want to be scared of death. Like, what do you have to do in order to change the idea you have of death? In order to, so you, so that part to me, power is being able to harness perspective, like in any given moment. Like cause shit could happen and hit you, man, and you could go in a downward spiral, or you could harness perspective and apply understanding and be like, yo, like shit happens and everybody goes through shit, and allow that shit to tap into something else in you, and yeah, man, like, yeah, that's power, bro. Harnessing perspective, man. We take it for granted. We take perspective for granted. Like a lot of people, like me, I developed a shitty attitude since a kid, not being my accomplishments were nothing. Like, I did something dope. Like I got good news. They'd be like, all right, that's
Whatever.
what's up.
Yeah.
I was trying to be nonchalant, and I think back in the day it was me trying to be cool about shit. Be like, oh, everything's cool. Oh yeah, I know. But me without knowing was feeding this shit to my subconscious mind. Where over time I want to detach from being that person. I want to be happy about shit. But it takes a little harder. Like, it's all right. You develop this shitty attitude over time. Habitually, like where now you can't, like now you have to you need to figure out a way to reverse and unravel that and start receiving information differently. Like and that's just an example of many other ways, like, but we apply certain attitudes as kids, like things are like, when I was a little ass kid I wouldn't wear Shacks, like fuck that. Now I'll wear Shacks right now, like I ain't tripping, for me, but like, but see how much power like brands and like and like things have over us. Like it's crazy. Like it's yeah.
Well, what's cool is that, first and foremost, thank you for sharing that, because I think there's a lot of people or a lot of kids who go through that motion of just like, like I want to be cool because, I want to fit in. I want to be part of like a wave or whatnot. But I think it's important to have conversations like this, because they could look at someone like yourself who is looking back at the time when you were a kid and be like, oh, well, self was like that. In a sense, like, it's kind of like giving these kids an opportunity to learn from you, like, right here, right now. And, I guess in a sense you're kind of saying, like, yeah, you can go through, like, this motion of you trying to be, like, too cool, but, in long term, it's not really the thing that you really want to do.
Yeah, and it'll fuck with you mentally. It's crazy. Because since I was a little kid, I always had to play, no, I wouldn't say that, because don't get me wrong, I'm not against fighting. Like, I think if like shit gets there, like it's totally understandable to do it. But being in this little world I grew up in, the graffiti world, or the it's like a bunch of fighting crews, gangs. Like you have to play a tough guy, like 24/7, like even like around your own homies, because your homies have to look at you like, oh, this was a down ass fool. You're trying to prove it to your homies that you with the biz, blah blah blah. So like, motherfuckers get lost in that persona, and then they won't come out from that persona. Like, and it's crazy. I've seen it, because I've had one-on-one conversations with like fools that always play hard, and then like, motherfuckers, you want affection, like motherfuckers, you want a hug, like like, and yeah, but they can't express that side to them, like to their other homies. They're like, stop being a bitch, stop being like that. Is like their level. They're scared to express themselves due to like they understand that their peers don't have that understanding. They'll be like, oh, this was a bitch. Like, this was like, nah, bro, this was realizing that there's some dumb shit that's not worth it. Like, I'm not going to pull over and fuck some fool up because, like, he's part of a,
No, I feel you, bro. I feel you. I think, I want to kind of relate it to, who the fuck did I have on here? Pomona. What's his name?
Drummer
Boy. So I had, like, young Drummer Boy on here, and, he's a dad, right? And I was asking him, like, like, what's that switch up like once you finally had, like, your kids? He was like, bro, like, the switch is like that. You can be, like, the most, like, with it type of person, whatever, but then the second you have your kid, like, everything just fucking changes for you, bro. And to me, it makes me believe that, like, everybody does have this sort of shell in which, like, we want to, like, I want to impress Self-Provoke. I want to, impress to somebody who's, like, watching this type of thing. But at the end of the day, if we're unable to break out of these shells, like, the truest version of ourselves cannot be shown to the world.
Our light don't shine, yeah. No, definitely, 100%. And that's where it gets tricky, man. Everybody's trying, and I'm guilty of that, man. I've always been like introverted, like since like preschool, dude. My fucking teachers always tell my parents like he's really shy, you know. Like I literally like found like 3 friends, and then like just until the whole tagging thing came, like I found like an identity in that world.
Yeah.
Where like you get the more you paint, the more people respect you. So I would get like people like I used to like paint a lot when I was a little ass kid, but people would respect you for that, and you know, like, and then I started getting like friends because of that, you know. But like when you make friends because like you have a connection or you guys share common interests. The common interests I had with all my friends were they were painters. You know, obviously there's like a handful that I became really close with because they were like really dope people, and there's a lot of dope people, but I probably didn't get to know them, but as much. But losing my train of thought. Yeah, I lost that shit again.
It's all good,
Fuck
bro.
this train, man.
Bro, it's funny because I always feel like whenever we get to that point in which like we lose our train of thought, it's just like one more like shovel away from actually getting there.
Yeah.
It's just so deep, but that just means that there's a lot more self-discovery that, you know, we all have to go through whenever we get to that point. And the beauty of that is that I don't think we can ever truly know ourselves. You know what I mean? Because there's always a lot of things shifting, like mentally, emotionally about ourselves. And I feel like the more that we learn about ourselves on like a consistent basis, I feel like the more happy we end up becoming. Mm-hmm. And your name, Self-Provoked, definitely fits what goes on in your head, bro.
Yeah, man. Hey, like I said, we all share the same consciousness, bro. I think there's a source. There's like we all have dreams of the same dreams. Have you ever had a dream where you try to punch somebody, you can't punch them?
Yeah.
Or you're trying to run. Like, why the fuck does everybody have the same fucking dreams? You know, like, so every thought that's crossed the motherfucker's head that, what, this is a crazy ass thought. Why am I thinking that? Like, and they start ruminating over it or whatever. Like, just know you that's not your thought, bro. Like, you're getting that shit from somewhere great, like a collective conscious, whatever you want to call it, a source, a God, whatever you want to call it. But so I started looking at my dog different now because I'm like,
I want to hear this.
Because I'm like, yo, like I see my dog staring at me, and I'm like, damn, I wonder what this fucking like consciousness that is my consciousness that we're all like what angle of this consciousness is my dog exercising?
So you kind of put yourself in your dog's point of view, kind of.
I feel we just share the same consciousness. I think we all literally share the same consciousness, like the same conscious. Like we all pull these ideas or these like ways of feeling, or like we're just all closer than we think. You feel me? That's all. So like, you have a God within you. I have a God within me. You have God. So okay, we have a God within us, but it's like, and I'm not getting preachy or fucking any dogma right here, but I'm just saying like, you're working that angle of consciousness or that angle of God, the God within you, but this God within us isn't within me, within us, so it's within everybody. So where does this God within us come from? You know, so that the concept is collective consciousness. But to me, that makes sense. Like, so doom lost it again.
I love it.
Hey, we should do like a count how many times Self fucking lost his train of thought in his interview.
Interview.
I think that's number 5.
I want to say that was like, it's at least 3. It's at least
I think
3.
it's 5.
You think it's 5?
Maybe 4.
I'm going to look back.
Okay.
I'm going to make that a clip. I'm going to see like Self 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Self-Provoked, man. The album Players Run is out now. What else can the people look forward to, bro?
Shit, just music videos, new music, fucking, if you fucking with what I do, fucking comment on my pictures, or else fucking Instagram's algorithm be a little bitch. YouTube too. And yeah, but just new music, man. Just new music, new content. I'm gonna try my best to fucking be on social media a little more. But yeah, man.
Amen to that, man. Self-Provoked, everybody. I'm Nico Blitz. This is The Lunch Table, and we are out.
Yeah.